I'll be honest with you, this is fake. But you know what's not fake? Businesses that were able to actually start from zero to million, 10 million, $50 million a year. This is for construction businesses, new construction, tract homes, commercial. This is what they did. We're gonna start with $0 to $100,000. And it starts pretty easy. It starts at zero. It starts with you just simply being a helper. So there's a company that you want to start working for. You're coming to the company, you're saying, look, what do I need to do just to start working? I am starting fresh, zero experience. Tell me where you can start me. Typical companies, they will start you somewhere around $20 an hour. And that's where you do almost nothing useful. You bring the tools, bring the materials, clean the trash. You're there more for just the comfort. The leaders, they don't have to waste their energy and resources to do all the little things. Then you would come up to the leader of your crew and you would say, look, what is it that you want me to do so I can earn more, so I can prove myself? And he will tell you, okay, how about this? I will show you a couple useful things that you can actually do that will help me to increase my speed and so that we can generate more profit. And then when we go to our boss, I can vouch for you that you're doing better and he can raise you. Let's just say you started doing that and your next raise would be $25, but you don't want to stop there. You want to keep growing, you want to keep proving yourself, you want to keep showing yourself that you can do more and that you are ready to do more. So you actually start working with the leader, learning everything he does. You start copying him, you start being resourceful, and now the leader is like, look, we're doing almost double amount of volume since you started because you're actually working on the same pace, speed, quality. I don't have to watch your back. So let me go to my boss and let me tell him that you're doing better, way better than before. So your next raise would probably be at $30 an hour. And this is where it gets interesting. A lot of people stop at $30 an hour. Unfortunately, the reason why, because the next step requires a lot of liability, a lot of responsibility, because at $30 is where you feel comfortable, is where you understand that still all the liability, all the main responsibility, final check, QC, it falls on the leader. If the job gets screwed up or something happens with the vehicle or materials, supplies, the leader has to reply and respond to the company that you're working for. So that's where comfort zone overtakes people and they don't want to move forward. But if you would like to move forward, and I'm assuming you would, the fourth one is interesting. This is where you actually have to not go to your leader, but go to your boss and tell him, look, I'm ready. What is it that I need to do in order for you to trust me to be a leader for you? I am ready to take liability. I'm ready to work extra hard. I'm ready to watch my back, double check my work. And let's just say he agrees. He's ready to buy another vehicle. He's ready to upgrade the tools. And now you're somewhere between 35 and $40 an hour, 50 hours a week, 52 weeks. Congratulations, you are at $104,000 a year. People stop here because they still feel comfortable. The liability still mainly falls on the company that they work for, because if the job gets screwed up, yes, you as a leader, you're probably going to go back and fix it up. But still, the materials that will have to be ordered for replacement, the responsibility, the reputation still falls in the company. So yes, a lot of people stop at level 3 and at level 4 just because it's comfortable. But that's not where we want to stop. We want to see how can we grow to the next level. Next is 100 to 500,000. There's going to be a lot of useless paper, but just for the visuals, this is what it looks like. $500,000. So here's what happens next. You come to your company boss, still previous company, and you tell him, hey, I know you're using subcontractors as well. What is it that I need to do in order to become one of them? I would like to buy my own vehicle, buy my own supplies, buy my own tools, and I would like to take more liability. And he would probably say, look, I'll be honest with you. I would like to give you work, but I would probably start with one project a week, which for some people it's a lot, for some people it's a one-day thing. And you would probably say, it's cool, I'll start somewhere and I'm grateful for the opportunity. And if you say that, there's good things and bad things, but more good things because you make more money. So if you start one project a week, 2 projects a week, the point is, if you were previously an employee at this company, they like you. Why? Because you run how they want you to run. You upload pictures, you communicate properly, because you've technically grew up with them. You grew up from $0, you went up to being a leader, so they obviously know that you're capable and you are happy to execute all the instructions and rules that the company has. So they feel very comfortable actually promoting you to a subcontractor. Just the problem is, how much work would they have for you? Because still, a lot of companies like to only run employees and a lot of companies like to run only subcontractors. If you start with the company that you worked with as one of the subcontractors, you could probably double your income within the year. I totally believe so. I do think that you can go anywhere between $150,000 to $200,000. If you've been making with them 104 previously, I do think that you could double that. So your first step, just simply by buying your own vehicle, by buying your own supplies, tools, you are now, let's just put 150,000. So yes, you are technically from the start already profitable, $50,000 more. Here's a but. First but is you have to now invest your capital in the operation cost. So your vehicle, your tools, your supplies, that will cost you money. There's another factor. Now you have to pay for your helper. But what happens is the company that you're working for, they like you even more because now they have less liability, but also you're generating more profit. And they would say, look, we want to get you more busy. So the next step would be they would load you up for a full week. I do think that from here, you can go up to $250,000. So now you are $100,000 more profitable. Yes, you will have to hire an employee full-time, but he will cost you less than $100,000. He would cost you probably somewhere between $50,000 to $70,000. You probably won't use him every day, all the time. You might leave him home some days when it's just smaller projects or small repairs. But I do think that now, by working for a company directly, being a contractor, you can generate $250,000 a year. But you don't want to stop there. How do we get to $500,000? This is the simplest math we have, is because for the third one, you simply just have to multiply this by 2. But you rely heavily on your employer or previous company because it all depends if they have enough work for you to double 2. But if you do double, which most companies would like to give you that opportunity, so your company that you're working for, they still really like you because the second team is a reflection of you and you are a reflection of the first company because that's what you started with. So to the third point, we are now at 500,000 and congratulations, you are very happy. You're not happy. You're tired. But we don't stop there. How do we get to $1 million? So we're starting with still your company, original company that you started working with. They are generating you with $500,000. It's great. I think it's a beautiful start. What other people do next is they start looking for an additional company like your previous one. Here's the problem with this one. If you start looking for the same company as your previous one, most likely they will not let you in just because they already have a whole bunch of contractors. They don't know you. They don't want to give you work. What I would do instead is I would look for where is your customer that gives you work? Where does he get his work? A lot of times you'll find that they get work from a bigger company that has more windows. What is very messed up is if you go to the company and you tell them, hey, I already work for this company anyways, just give me work and I'll work for cheaper if you want me to. What will happen is this company will talk to your boss and tell him, hey, this guy came by and he was asking for work. You know what happens now? You go from $500,000 profit to 0. And guess what? You ruined your relationship. Now you have to start from scratch. And it's nearly impossible to get back to the same level with the same amount of speed because now you broke your trust and now you're screwed. So instead, what I would do is I would look for companies like this one, but where your current customer doesn't work with. How you would get in the doors of this company, you would start with repairs, customer service. I'll do as much of it as you want. Just give me an opportunity to show you what I can do. And they would typically say, okay, we need customer service people. And let's just say now you are still running at $500,000, but now you're adding a customer service crew. That customer service crew will not give you too much of profit just because it's a high risk, low profit margin industry, but it's something that will show you what your customers care about. So your store would say, look, we like you so much and we want to keep you more busy. What is it that we need to do in order to get more help from you? And that's when you come in the door and tell them, look, give me a couple projects a week. Give me what you can. I would like to work with you. And obviously you see my customer service results. Our guys are there, they're sharp, they're on point, let's work together. That's where they would give you additional 1, maybe 2 projects a week, but the profit margin from this company compared to this company is different. You're making more money here, somewhere between 20 to 40%, all depends on your profit margins, but this company will pay you more. Now you'll actually want to work with a mix formula between employees / subcontractors because you won't have enough volume and work for your employees all the time. And that's is where our previous video we talk about it. 30% employees, you have 70% subs. In your step number 2, congratulations. You are now somewhere between $700 to, let's just say, $800,000. Number 3 is you understood how this bigger company works, how to get inside the bigger company is by customer service. And now you have a smaller customer, you have a bigger customer, and you can find more customers. There's a lot of them out there, especially if you keep offering your customer service to them. They would like to work with you. You already know the math. If you simply go inside one more additional store, you can increase your sub ratio or your employee ratio. I think you can run labor only between 1 and 5, and you should be a lot more happier now. You don't want to stop here. You actually want to keep going, and you want to get bigger. You want to get smarter, stronger, and I want to see how we can get to $10 million. The way you do it is by starting to collect cash. You save as much money as possible because you will need it for the next step. And the next step would be is you have a community of small houses, and community feeds your bigger customer feeds your smaller customer, and the smaller customer feeds employees like you were when you started at 0. So now we broke through this one. We became a sub directly with this customer. The next one is we started looking for customers like this one, and we were able to break through. What I mean by breakthrough is when you start applying and you actually are managing more than one, that means you broke through the single stress point. So now if you're managing a couple of these bigger customers, that means your bookkeeping is on track, your scheduling is on track, your customer service is on track. This is where your bigger customer feeds work to your smaller customer feeds work to employees, and now you're trying to break to the builder. And let's just say you've been working with one of the builders that they really liked you. And typically what happens is when you get big enough, you're running between 5 to 15 projects a day, and you're at a lot of communities working with a lot of different builders. Last thing you want to do is go directly to the builder. I'll do it for cheaper than your customer. Same thing will happen where you're at $5 million. They say, we're not going to work with you anymore, and you lose 50 to 60% of revenue. We have to restructure so many things. And now have fun getting to the builder when they say, don't work with this guy, he's not a good guy. What you want to do instead, supervisor that works for the builder, so a happy guy, leaves and he goes and starts working with a smaller builder. And you have been treating this person very well. He tells his boss that I want to work with this guy. and he's been really good, and he's been delivering the quality, and now here you go. You start working directly for the builder. Now, when you work directly for the builder, you order your own material, you order your own supply, you have your own warehouse, distribution. So at this point, when you have a small community, you can go anywhere between $6 million all the way to $10 million, depending on the size of the community that you're working with. So I do have a last quick point, and it's how you go from 10 to $50 million, just simply multiplying this procedure. But what happens at that point, most likely you will tell this customer, I don't want to work with you anymore because your prices are ridiculously expensive. You probably will not have work with this customer anymore because they will see that you are now working directly with the builders, and they will see that as a threat, and they will not want to work with you anymore. So now you have to rely at the builders and at their communities in order to continue growing your business. So at some point, why a lot of people don't break through $5 million is because there's going to be an upside, then there's a dip bigger than the upside. But that's when you slowly but surely, you start one community, you finish one community. Then this guy will probably, instead of building 5 houses, he will start building 10 houses. And then this guy will probably tell his friends that are building also 10 houses, and he will start building 20 houses now. And he will tell his friends that are building 50 houses. And it just keeps going. That's how it will spread. So you will have a downside, because at this level, when you start 10 communities, you finish 10 communities, this guy by that time will feel like it's a threat. He will probably not go against you with the builders. If you treat them right, if you talk to them that, hey, I'm starting to work with the builders directly, it obviously depends on your character. But if you've been an employee and people liked you and you've proven yourself to be a responsible and respectful guy, you got to work directly with the customer, then you moved up a level and they liked you here, and you've been an honest and nothing but a resourceful and positive feedback, builders will like you and everybody else will speak good about you. So this downside will be when this customer and this customer says, we don't want to work with you anymore. This builder will probably finish up the communities, they will have to sell the houses in order to start new one. But once they do, once they spread, once they increase their volume, your profit just grows, and it will grow. And economy obviously will reflect where it's a dip, where it falls, when it goes down, when it goes up. This is when you make horrible mistakes. But this is typically how you go from $5 million to $10 million, is by little builders. You grow to $10 million. Here you go, you start with 5, and here you got to 10, then you got back to 4, and now here you got back to 50. This is how businesses grow, bankrupt, or succeed. Is typically, this is literally like a copy paste. This is what everyone has done. They go from a helper all the way to a business owner, from a business owner all the way to a company owner, from a company owner, then they get directly to the builder, and then from the builder, some people just become builders. And that's when we're talking about more money, more liability, but better rewards. Thanks for watching. And if you want to watch more videos like this, just click right here.